"I can't," she said. Then she refused to say any more. They took her away into custody and left another officer to take me and Titus to the station in a car with flashing lights. I had to coax Titus out of his room. He was on his bed, curled up amidst the blankets, headphones on, cancelling out the horror of the world around him. He had open in front of him an old scrapbook diary. He used to make one for every school holiday back when he was a kid. It was something Matthew's sister had done, apparently. He'd told me that once when we watched the young Titus gluing in printouts of holiday snaps. I couldn't quite work out if he was glad the boy was so involved in the activity, or troubled by it. And the fact Titus had now reached for a volume filled with happy family photos of us all just after the scene of violence in the kitchen was unnerving to me. "We need to go," I said to him gently. "The police are here. We need to go to the station now so they can talk to us." The officer behind me told me that we both needed to go downstairs now. He came and stood close, making it clear we didn't have a choice. I saw the tears slip down Titus's face and I wanted to pull him close, tell him everything was okay. But he drew away from me. "Please, Titus, we need to go. They've already taken Rachel." He looked up at this as I suspected he would. Rachel confessed. She told them she did it. The fringe of his light blonde hair fell over his face as he straightened up, mingling with his tears. "But why?" He mouthed this last word silently. I stared back at him, the real question swimming in the air, unanswered between us. Why would Rachel confess to a murder she did not commit? Chapter 1. Charlie. 11 months to go. We first met Rachel in a bookshop. Matthew and I had gone into town, leaving Titus at home baking cakes with my mother. When we decided to settle in Chelsea, it was one of my fears that my mother, based in neighbouring Belgravia, would try to micromanage our lives, but we generally muddled along just fine with her popping in a couple of times a week. It was my idea that sunny Sunday morning to go into Waterstones on the King's Road. I'd wanted to pick up a pretentious-sounding hardback I'd read about in one of the morning broadsheets, more to be seen reading it than because I would enjoy it. Matthew had always been critical of this. "You treat books like lifestyle accessories." He'd said the last two words with total contempt, a knowing smirk spreading across his handsome face. He was winding me up, and I took the bait, telling him that what I decided to read and why was my own business. When we got to Waterstones, he went straight to the fantasy section, probably to pick out a book so large it could pass for a fairly effective weapon, while I browsed the table of new hardbacks. I'd found the volume I'd wanted and was just stretching out a hand to pick it up when another collided with mine. "Oh, sorry," she said, laughing, pulling her hand away. I looked up at her wavy blonde hair, her bright blue eyes. There was something alive about her, cheery, carefree, like she'd floated in on the breeze. I saw her looking me up and down too, the way women often did. I'd noticed it throughout my entire adult life. Longer, in fact. When I was a young lad on the rugby field or at the clubs, there'd always be someone whistling at me or a group of girls willing to talk to me. Then, as I journeyed into adulthood, through my late 20s and now mid-30s, the signs of attraction had become more subtle. But they were still there. I sometimes wondered if it had damaged me somehow, being the one in my group with all the looks. "Wonder Boy," my mate Archie used to tease me, nudging me playfully as girls instantly appeared by us as we walked into bars in our late teens. He used to love the moment, as he used to call it, when they'd come on to me, encourage me to buy them a drink, and I'd do my best apologetic smile and tell them that I'd happily buy them a drink, but I was really sorry because I was into guys rather than girls. Usually, after a moment of disappointment, which I admit a little painfully now used to give my ego a boost, they would remain friendly.